Good questions matter. My speech actually talks about one question, but I'm going to cheat and give you a couple more. But good questions are really important. And teachers or coaches already know the effect of good questioning technique, because good questions can elicit wonder. Good questions can give feedback. Good questions enable the person inside being questioned to come up with the answer on their own. Now, good questions, in fact, Einstein once remarked that if he had to solve a problem and he had 1 hour and his life depended on it, he said he would spend 55 minutes thinking up the question first. Now, when I talk about good questions, that implies that there's bad questions. Perhaps you've heard the phrase, there's no such thing as a bad question. I think you have. It's actually incorrect, like many cliches are. There are some bad questions. There can be awkward ones. Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name again. But there can also be bad ones. For example, if you think about Princess Meghan Markle, when she claimed or reported that one of the senior royals had asked her repeatedly, "Where are you from?" America. No, really, where are you from? And we know that that question was actually not a particularly nice one. It was designed to hurt and to harm. But a good person can laugh off those kind of questions and move past them. And a very famous person, which much of my speech is based upon, the former Dean of Harvard University, Dr. James Ryan, talked about 5 essential questions that will help you become a better person. And I'd like to share them with you. The first question he calls, wait, what? Now this is a phrase, parents, you may have heard before. You might be talking to your children, your teenagers, and I'll be honest, the teenagers are hearing blah, 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 and you need to clean your room. And the teenager will suddenly go, wait, what? Right? But actually this wait, what? Oh, sound again? What have I done wrong? Something where? Hello? Shall I speak very loudly, or do you need the... I asked the wrong... No, it was the right question.
There you go.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, so wait what? Actually, this is really important, because the first one is wait. Think about what's being asked of you. Right? So quite often, as a leader in a school, or as a parent or a teacher, this idea of wait, what? Dig down deeply into what you're really being told or being asked or need to think. It's the idea to think and pause before having the answer immediately. Right? Particularly in today's world, we're always wanting the answer instantly. And the instant answer, the quick answer, is not always the correct one. So the first essential question is wait what? The second one is one based on curiosity. What if we? Could we just? Why is it so? So the second one is, what if we have a school event TEDx for our school? Right. What if we decide to change the school day so teenagers can sleep in? What if we decide to ban phones in school? So it's this idea of the curiosity, thinking beyond the ordinary, beyond the boring, beyond the everyday. It's our second essential question. Our third essential question, couldn't we just? What it means, couldn't we just agree on this little bit? It's a question to be used in times of conflict. In times of when you're speaking to somebody else and you can't come to an agreement, how about you say, couldn't we just agree on this small thing? Now, we could ask some leaders in the Middle East at the moment to say, couldn't we just agree that children starving and dying in the Middle East is not good for humanity? Right? So the next time you have conflict with someone or disagreement, find that common ground. Start with, couldn't we just? Now the next question, the next essential question is a favourite of mine because I'm very bad at it. Right? What it is how can I help? And the reason I say I'm bad at it is being a school leader, sometimes being male, being a type A alpha, you want to be Superman. You want to solve the problem immediately. If my 8-year-old boy comes to me and says, I cannot open a jar on this, this jam jar, I often want to grab it straight away and say, let me do it for you. Right? Or maybe a school leader, when a teacher comes into the office and says, I've had it with my Year 8 class, they're so difficult. And maybe the school leader wants to rush out the door and grumble at those Year 8 students. And those answers aren't always the correct answers. Sometimes, and I've learned this the hard way, sometimes you just need to listen. Parents, if your partner comes home from work and is tired and complaining, sometimes they just want to listen and hear. And so this question of how can I help is really important, because sometimes the other person will say, you already helped by listening. Sometimes the other person will say, yes, I do need you to go and do something, and it may not always be the answer that you thought of. So that really fourth important essential question is, how can I help? And finally, and students in here, I really want you to listen to this one, what matters and what matters to me? Right? This is a question to help you think about the really important things in your life. Is it getting great grades? Is it thinking about the environment? The next time, and it's not just students that do this, but next time you're doom scrolling on Snapchat or something like that, you might say to yourself, what really matters to me? And that's how you know what you need to do. And maybe it's not wasting time on Netflix or the phone, but maybe it's going out and getting the study done so you do get those good grades and you become true to yourself. Those are my 5 essential, in fact, not mine, but Dean James Ryan, but they're also mine now. Those 5 essential questions. Wait, what? Which brings out the curiosity and learning the question. What if we, doing things differently? Oh, goodness me. What was my third one? Couldn't we just? Right? Donald Trump? Couldn't we just? What have I done wrong? Couldn't we just? So couldn't we just find some common ground, agree on a small thing? 4th one is, how can I help? And finally, the 5th one is, I didn't touch it that time. Finally, that 5th question is, what matters to me? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.